Hey guys, welcome back to an April Fool in his room. Hey guys, all right, I gotta be honest with you guys. I haven't really said this. This isn't something that I ever wanted to talk about. Um, but here we are, guys. Here we are. Look, guys, I'll be honest with you. I might look one way on the podcast if you ever watch the video version on YouTube or whatever. NBC, it's on network TV also, but only in a small country that no one really lives in. But it is on network TV there. No, but seriously though, just wanted to start with this admission. Am I coming clean a little bit, guys? Yeah, just wanted to come clean. You know what? It's never too late for a fresh start, guys. We here at a Guy in This Room, we want you to succeed, and we're going to help you do that. Through our partnership with protein supplement company, GoGetDemRepsIn.com, who has been sponsoring the podcast. No, April Fools. But here's my announcement, guys. I am not actually the person you see on the video version. I'm actually using a filter that takes off about 700 pounds. So I am a morbidly obese, gigantic human being. My voice actually doesn't even sound like this because I'm always panting. I'm always sweating. It'd be hard for me to even get my whole body in the shot of the video version of this. What do I really look like, you wonder? Well, let me show you an example that looks a little bit like what I might look like in real life. And that is this right here. Brendan Fraser in
The Whale movie. That's what I actually look like. I've been told to use a filter to change my appearance because people are not comfortable with an 800 plus pound man. To see that every week on a podcast would be upsetting. It might reduce the appetite of some people. It might make you physically disgusted, even if you're one of these progressive people that want to accept everybody. You don't want to see that raw,
fat, giant obeseness. Well, it's never too late to be more accepting and to not be disgusted by my 800 plus actual body because, hey, I'm a person too, and we're all about this fat acceptance out there. Do better and just start, be mindful of your reactions when you see a man that can't even fit in a door frame. Okay?
I'm a person too.
So what that this is what I look like. This guy, yeah, anyway, I don't know, you could probably guess this, but guess what? April Fools! April Fools! April Fools! April Fools! April Fools! I'm actually dangerously underweight. This isn't even me either. I'm still not how I look on the video version, but I'm actually dangerously underweight. Okay, that was an April Fool. Maybe that was an April Fool too. I don't know. Yeah, so I did just watch that movie, The Whale. I watched it in extra wide. Get it? Yeah, I was gonna, maybe talk about it. I looked it up, and apparently it's a little controversial. I thought, I kind of forgot about that. I guess when I first saw that it was coming out, people were only talking about, oh, Brendan Fraser's in it. He hasn't done a movie in a while. Like, it's been a while. And he also, wow, look how he transformed like this. And yeah, I remember some mild, like, oh, is this good that you're showing this fat guy? People are going to watch it to laugh and stuff like that. I guess I forgot until I just looked it up just now. Apparently, it's a little controversial. Why? Because these are hypocritical people that are actually, that they actually are the ones that are being phobic, okay? I mean, if you physically can't watch The Whale because this guy's too big and you think, well, it's mean. It's mean to just show him. For him to exist, for him to just live in a movie is mean to show that. Well, then you have the problem. This happens with a lot of these people, like the progressive whatever. Oh, we can't show a guy honestly being big like that and, like, honestly show a morbidly obese guy. I mean, but they, then on the other hand, they still have, like, my, 1,000-pound sisters or whatever on reality TV. And in my opinion, those shows kind of do, like, use those people in a way, like, because I don't know. That kind of, to me, is kind of, like, using them for entertainment, like, to laugh at. A lot of people are watching those shows to, like, be like, well, I'm not that. The Whale, though, I mean, this movie, I gotta be honest, it's the only time I've seen any fat person in a movie and felt, I mean, well, I'll say, like, it's the only movie I've seen that has made somebody who's this big, like, sympathetic. I mean, I can't think of another movie. I know there was Precious, remember that, like, where this big black girl and, like, she was shit on her whole life, and I haven't seen it but that seemed to not be controversial. Like, I don't think that had all these, like, saying it's mean to just show her life or whatever. Probably because it was written. Well, I think somebody said it was written by somebody who lived that life, and it's weird because I saw the behind the scenes, and the writer is not fat at all. I mean, unless he used to be, like, I don't know. I think he might have said, I don't know. Anyway, why is it controversial? Like, I just don't understand. But yeah, look it up, and it's got, what, 64% on Rotten Tomato. Like, fuck that site. Like, I'm so sick of that site now. Why would they be offended by this? Like, what the fuck kind of... You know what? This just shows all the hypocrisy on all these people that are, like, I don't know, woke or, like, whatever it is. Like, I tried to look at some of these. Well, I saw this Reddit review of it. And I do agree with this Reddit review. It said, like, let's see. Oh, it's like saying there's a shock factor. I mean, I think, like, they might be saying, maybe some of the critics here, misery porn. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think you're saying that because he's so fat. I mean, otherwise, why would you say that? Here's the thing I was thinking, like, what this movie, to me, there isn't it wasn't a misery porn. It was, like, pretty believable, actually, because, like, I was getting upset at everybody being mean to the main character, even though, like, I'll be honest, in real life, this happens. Like, this just seems like the things that were not, like, true to life, I guess. Pretty much everything in the movie, I was like, yeah, this probably happens. Like, say this stuff happened to the main character in the movie. There's a reason why he starts overeating more. And that was all believable. The way even people are mean to him in the movie, like, you're supposed to. Well, you do feel bad for him watching it, actually. Like, even when they tell you what he did, that he messed up his life or whatever, and messed up his ex-wife and daughter's life, you still feel bad for him. Like, I actually, I mean, the thing that he did wasn't even that. I don't know if it was that big a deal, because to me, I guess, because like, I don't know if I want to even. I don't know if the trailer makes it apparent, that part of the movie. I don't know if I spoiled that. But the thing he did, I'll just say, I understand why they're mad at him, meaning his ex-wife and daughter, that he has an estranged daughter he hadn't seen in over, who knows how long. But 10 years maybe. Like, I understand the thing, like the way she acts, like the way the daughter is, like somebody in one of their disapproving reviews here mentioned, like, oh, it's a totally like terrible person. I think everybody's believable in the movie because, like, this is how people act. They like lash out. They, especially if you have an ex-wife, like there's gonna be tension there, especially if they're still upset about the thing that happened. Like, everybody yelling at him, and including the lady who like is basically his nurse in it. The way she gets mad at him is really believable. The only two things in the movie, there's two things maybe in the movie that, like, you could tell this is a movie. In real life, this might not happen. There's only like two aspects of the movie. One is this kid that happens upon the main character for kind of randomly, but then you realize there's a meaning to that happening. And that's a movie. That's not even like saying it was a bad idea. It's actually made the movie better to have that part in it. But these critics, I think, are in denial about why they don't like this movie. They don't like this movie because it's too honest. And that's part of the movie, actually, because he brings up, he's I guess, a teacher, the main character, and he is into writing, and he's like, oh, I want honest writing. So that probably, I don't know, maybe that's the that could have been in the play. It's actually based on this thing that was a play, and the same guy who wrote the play wrote the movie, apparently. So I was surprised at how much sympathy you have for, like, when I was watching it. I thought it would be like a lot of gross eating, and that really wasn't the case. It was just like one part, I guess, where I was like, oh, geez. But that was realistic too, because it was like, him going on him really upset, and shows like something that he's. That's why, I mean, these critics that say it's a hateful movie, you're saying fat people are disgusting by saying that. Like, there is nothing about this movie that I think, oh, that's not realistic. That's misery porn or whatever. Like, he has a reason for overeating, which I do think a lot of big people, that's why they do it. Like, and that made me feel a lot more sympathy towards people that are that big. I mean, you rarely see someone that's the size of this guy in this movie, but you do, though they exist. I mean, look at those shows I mentioned on TLC, like 800-pound Life or whatever, 700-pound Life. I've seen people in those shows that can't take a bath, they're real people. And that show, like I said, is more guilty of, like, mocking these people, using them. This movie is about a fake person. So that, number one, like, there should be no controversy over this movie. I mean, this is, I think, probably, even if you're one of these people that are body positivity, like, oh, you know, fat phobia or whatever, you still might like this movie because it's like there's other reasons that are in the movie, and then, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward movie that has no, like, I would think there would be no controversy. Oh, it was so cruel, this one says. It's such a heavy-handed approach. I don't think so. Like I said, yeah, you know, he is very big. It's not like he's only like, well, not, everything was believable to me. Like, everything in the movie, even the way they yell at him and stuff. They don't call him like fat, actually. That's not even ever really brought up as an insult. People are like this. Like, people don't want to like acknowledge anything about themselves. Like, oh, like I would like be like this, or I'm really compassionate. But then, like, if they saw someone, like, I think somebody mentioned on this Reddit. Yeah, look. See, I like this comment here. It says, like, my favorite criticism is they hired Fraser and a makeup team instead of an 800-pound actor. Which 800-pound actor would have they cast? And that's true. There's probably not even a single one that's that big. You could have maybe got a fat actor, but not, even close to this big. People who think it was dishonest and manipulative. People must be misinterpreting the movie if they're thinking it's offensive, like, honestly. Or they think you should never show someone this fat on a movie. Yeah, people are like stupid if they don't think somebody would exist that's like his character too. Let me see if I can find any of these critical reviews of it. The audience. See, this is another thing that keeps happening more with these review sites. Rotten Tomatoes is they'll have like, okay, 64% critics, 91% audience. That's pretty ridiculous of a difference. I mean, and then you have, let me see, 100% on whatever this movie is. Oh, it only has 22 reviews. 5 reviews. Okay. So let me just see what are the in theaters. Okay, Dune Part 2 pretty much as audience and critics have the same review score there. Yeah, I don't, anything that I don't know. I don't know why. I kind of think if a filmmaker, like a director, has a bad movie or something that doesn't get great score by critics, he becomes like, oh, we're not gonna like his movies anymore. Like that's in my opinion, like that happens. So the guy that did The Whale did other movies before that the critics didn't like. So I kind of think that happens. All right, we'll give him a 60 something. We're not going to give him more than that because that other movie he did. It's a tough business, guys. Show business, which I'm in. It is like, what do you do for somebody that just doesn't want to improve themselves? What are you going to do? What can you do? If somebody keeps eating themselves to death, what do you do? It is interesting, though. It's one of those things that people do to hurt themselves. It's like an addiction, but it's food. And like the one part where he's like binging is like somebody that would be binging on alcohol, but it's food, And it's funny because I thought The Whale, like the title, was almost why people were upset when it came out. When it first was announced, like, oh, it's called The Whale and he's a big fat guy. Okay, I see what you did there. Oh, okay, so it's called The Whale because he's big and he's a whale. He should die, right? No, actually, it's a metaphor. And Moby Dick is referenced in the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's it's funny that, I see these critics that didn't like it. Because I thought, oh, this movie won Oscars. Maybe it didn't. I don't think it did, maybe. I don't know. I actually assume, I know Brendan Fraser won. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. But it probably should have won for more than that. I mean, because because they're like, oh, I guess maybe some people are like, oh, so you're saying every fat person is disgusting and should feel bad. But look, that character is overeating because he hates himself. I mean, you know, I understand. Like I said, like I understand why his family is mad at him, but I still probably would have got over it because, yeah, his daughter is like really off-putting and terrible. But a lot of teenagers are like that, and she was clearly doing that to be, and like Brendan Fraser's character, which is her dad, kind of sees through it, and you as the viewer are like, maybe she is a piece of shit, and he just keeps like, I thought it was kind of inspiring because I would have. He keeps being positive anyway about his daughter. And for me, I probably wouldn't have. Like, I don't know. uh, but yeah, the end's really sad, and I don't really cry much at movies. But the end of that was like crazy, crazy sad. It is like hard to tell people to watch a movie that, oh, it's so sad. But I used to watch more movies like this where it's like you might get really like sad or emotional watching them, dramas like that. But like this one actually was, the reason why the ending was so like emotional was because it was so honest. Like, and you can't have an honest, real movie about a fat guy that overeats without like you know being showing the gross aspects of it. Like, yeah, of course it's gross to watch a guy uh get two entire full pizzas for, like, and like um and keep like just fucking stuffing his face and like and then crying afterwards, like that's just like it is hard to watch that. That's the whole point of but that happens. I mean, that probably happens every single day. Somebody's doing that. Somebody is big, probably. I don't know. I just hate everybody now. But this is like, I don't know. I kind of think we're coming out of I don't know, knock on wood. As long as they keep making stuff that's actually honest like this, uh, because I just haven't really. I used to be more into movies. I used to be more into whatever, every kind of art form there is, but like a lot of it's really took a fucking huge nosedive because of the political correctness, wokeness, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's been going on for a while. They used to call it political correctness, and it really was bad, in the, you know, I don't know when when everything started to be shit was probably not even that long ago. I mean, probably less than 10 years ago. It really wasn't seeping into everything until that kind of recently. Like, and now, like, I don't know, like, it's so easy to avoid. Like, I saw this tweet that I agreed with. It was just saying, like, it's so easy to people. Well, this was about video games. I guess video games even have this issue now where they woke them up. There's another woke thing where they like to, like, for some reason they want the video game girl characters, they're making like not attractive and they're covering them up and stuff, like, and it's actually to the point where it's unrealistic now. I mean, and more noticeable because, like, they'll so this is like a new it's happening with this new, like, stuff with video games. I can't even really keep track of it because it's games that I haven't played, and if I haven't played them, I don't, but I guess some company was, I don't know, I can't even explain it, but well, maybe I'll look up something. So there was an old thing called GamerGate, and now they're calling this new stuff GamerGate 2. GamerGate 2. going on with GamerGate? So you have all these mainstream articles denouncing GamerGate 2 and stuff like I don't know. Everybody's gonna like lie about what's going on too. Like if they agree with the video game companies censoring, they're gonna argue that it's hateful white supremacists. But if they're on the side of not the woke censorship, then Okay, so this looks like it might be a fair take on it. Answer this whole fiasco was starting by a Steam creator who made a list of games that were developed with some, I don't know, I can't find info. When they do these mainstream takedowns of these fan outrage now, the mainstream articles will be biased against fans. And that's why it's hard to find any kind of. Okay, so there's somebody made a list of games that use a consulting company that looks for offensive content. So it's a woke consulting company. Any games that they are involved in, this guy made a list out of those so that people cannot buy those games. So that's like not anything like in my opinion, that's not who cares, I mean, if you're afraid of people finding out who you worked with and like what people, we use this company to check if we make people are saying it's to target them to give bad reviews. I guess I don't know if I like the like brigade, like everybody giving bad reviews at once kind of thing, because a lot of them probably wouldn't have even played the game or whatever it is, movie. So, I mean, yeah, if they're afraid of people finding out that they use these consulting companies, that's not a good sign. You shouldn't be doing something that if people find out, like, oh, we use this person, like this person wrote this game. Like, no, normally you would never cover up who helped you. Like, I don't know. Again, this is very convoluted looking, but to me, making a list of woke games, you shouldn't be. That's no. There's no issue with that for me. Like, yeah, okay, this game seems. It's all up to opinion. I mean, if people see that list and they go by the list and they like, I just don't get the big deal. Yeah, I mean, I do hate that shit. I mean, sorry, I just fucking anybody who's a censorship like I look for offensive content, like get out. Like, why would you be doing that with your life? You can't be a great person. I mean, why would you do that? I tag everything and I call people racist as a living. See, they probably would. Now a sensitivity group would probably say the whale is offensive just because it has a fat guy in it, just because it has a huge morbidly obese guy, like, stuffing his face in parts of the movie. That's offensive, probably. They would have marked that. But this filmmaker at least is like successful enough that he just did his own thing. Now I gotta be honest. Now if something gets like backlash, I'm like, oh, it might actually be honest and good. I mean, look at these other, like, I'm gonna look up the best movies of 2002 from Critics Top 10s. I'm gonna go to the top 10 list. Everything, I hate to title this movie. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I didn't see that, but it won a bunch of awards because she's Asian, I guess. I don't really know why it did, but there was a trend with that, and then that movie Parasite also did. It swept the awards. Like, and I did see Parasite and I liked it, but I also don't really see it as a masterpiece. But I watched it after all the hype died down. See, never heard of this. The Banshees of Inisherin. That's number 2. Never heard of it. Tar, number 3. I did hear of this and it looks stupid. It's just about a woman composer. And that's it. It's not even a real composer. It's just that's number 3. I'm gonna look up the score to that. I want to see what the audience versus the critics. The audience
versus the critics. This Sunday. The audience versus the critics. This Sunday. Live. Watch the battle. Who will win? The critics? I wish that would happen.
Critics fight, like literally physically fight audience. This movie looked insufferable, fucking pretentious as hell. 91% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not gonna. Okay, I learned my lesson from last episode. I'm not playing official anything anymore because I got like 2 copyright claims on stupid music videos that I was playing. So like, it just fucking, who cares about this movie? I mean, it's a fucking conductor. She's a groundbreaking conductor of a major German orchestra. We meet Tar at the height of her career as she's preparing a book launch and a live performance of. Like, what? This movie won every award? How many people saw this movie? Like, no one, probably. Dude, you gotta see this movie about a fucking. What's the audience score? 74%. Super long movie. I don't know. Maybe it's good. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if I want to. I'm just saying, like, this is about I don't know. Okay, they're saying good acting, but she was falling apart, but we don't know why. Yeah, like, okay, somebody's about to conduct a symphony. Okay. Oh, she's facing allegations of misconduct. I guess it's kind of interesting because it's a woman, and usually that was a man. But I bet you it would, like, end with her redeeming herself or something. What I liked about The Whale is it's not about, I actually thought it would be like an ending where he gets redeemed and loses weight or something. That probably would have won the Oscars. Hey, just have him be fat, but then he gets, like, everything's fine. No, I mean, realistically, these people die all the time. I mean, my siblings work in a hospital, and they have huge patients in there. They, this would happen. I mean, remember the pandemic where anybody that was, like, big like this probably would have, if they did get COVID, they'd be gone. They'd be dead. All right, let me see what the other best movies were. After Sun, never heard of it. 2 people vacation at a resort in Turkey. The last vacation they would ever take. Aw. Yep, not as moving as Nope was number 5. I saw that. Top Gun Maverick, number 6. Never heard of The Fabelmans, number 7. Never heard of it. It's about a tenuous marriage. Not as good sounding as Whale. I mean, I'm not really. I mean, The Whale still looks like it got pretty good critic reviews. Like, pretty. I don't know. Anyway, just like, don't go by the critic reviews anymore. That's my advice. I mean, you don't want it below a certain percentage though, because then. I mean, this I don't trust the ones for this Tar movie because there's 91% and then there's like a 70% on the audience. So, like, somebody put it on Reddit. So, like, I just watched Tar. Now sell me on why it's one of the best films. Well, I guess yeah, I just I'm kind of done with these movies. Like, it's hard for me to watch movies that don't explain, like, almost anything. Like, The Whale at the very end, the whale is kind of up to interpretation. But other than that, it's pretty much just this guy. And there are things that leave you wondering, but it's not like, oh, there's these vague images of like something. They could have done it like that. They could have like put, oh, what did he do that made his daughter hate him? Like, and then it shows like stupid, vague images of. I'm glad it didn't do that because I don't know, but I don't always hate movies like that either. But when I know a movie's gonna be like, oh, it's so weird, and it's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, in the Guinness newsroom, totally sane and normal Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who was a hero on the internet when she got released from prison for having her mom murdered, is back in the news.
Ooh, she's back in the news. Yes, queen. Yeah. Gypsy Rose Blanchard gets matching tats. She got matching tats, which is the cool way to say tattoos, with ex-fiance back in the mix, it says here. Yeah. Only normal thing to do.
So she just broke it off with another guy that she, I think was engaged with this fat guy. Sorry, I know I just watched The Whale and I should feel bad. But he's not quite the whale, but he's a pretty big guy. And broke it off with him. So she just went and got matching tattoo. This was really recent that I saw that the other guy, Ryan... The big guy, Ryan Anderson here, was pretty recent. I thought they just got... Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm really confused by this. Like, she's had, like, 2 fiancés? Yes, okay, no, wait. This is Ryan Anderson, the fat guy she was just with, was her husband. And they're only separated right now. And she's already getting matching tattoos with another guy. So that's, hey... Everybody calling her a hero, and she escaped and whatever. That I don't know if that's that normal of a thing to do, but maybe she'll get married to this guy. I don't know if that's legal to have 2 marriages going. So I'm predicting. I guess what I'm predicting is she gets married to this other guy. I mean. That was really recent. I talked about that. So just keeping an eye on what happens with her. I mean, it is pretty interesting to see what happens because, what if she does have someone else murdered? What if, what if something else happens? I mean, that so far hasn't happened with Casey Anthony, but anyway, some other things in the news here. California, I did see that California raised the minimum wage to $20. But I knew what I expected would happen because they raised prices on the menu. So now we have to now these people are going to okay, hey guys, look at us. We're a hero. California raised the minimum wage to fast food minimum wage to $20. Yay! Also, you're going to have to pay at least $2 more for each menu item now. So you're going to have to... Basically, you are the ones that are making their wage go up because you're paying more for the food. Fast food is already too expensive now. I mean... So, I just would not get it anymore. It's already too expensive. Plus we have inflation... So it's pretty stupid to do that. I mean, look, I'm not saying you could probably do a middle ground or something because you also shouldn't have the minimum wage be the same it was in the 80s or something like that. See what I mean? a Texas Double Whopper meal costed $15 on March 29 in the LA area. Already too much money, but now it's going to be $16.89. An increase of $4 on the Big Fish meal. It's shit food. It's terrible shit. I mean, I'm just going to not get your shitty fucking fast food if you're going to raise the prices like that. Like, go fuck yourself. Yeah, less people are going to get your shit. I mean, it's just... Or they're just going to, like, just keep getting it because they just eat that shit and they're, like, addicted to it or something. Retail workers near Carl Heastie's NYC office constantly fear being attacked on job. I'm scared all the time. I wonder why that is. Oh, they work at a state assembly speaker. Oh, retail employees near his office say that. Yeah, I mean, I guess New York is just back to the violent past it used to have. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So New York is now very dangerous again. It's just the normal thing here. So I think I might have talked about this mayor, like Tiffany Henyard. I don't know, maybe I didn't. I thought I might have talked about her. But like she has all these scandals and it's like near Chicago, Illinois. And she like having all these scandals and stealing money and then doubling down and being like, I'm a victim and stuff, like, which is a normal thing to do now. This is the culture we're in where it's like, look, I'm black and you must hate me because I'm a black woman, even though like every resident is black too here. Like, look, they're all black. All the videos of her I've seen are black people upset at her. So, and I'm pretty sure she did say, well, that's because I'm a black woman. I mean, there's a lot of competition for worst mayor, so. Oh, okay, I kind of remember this. Like, she's also facing a sexual harassment and retaliation complaint by a former employee who accused the mayor of firing her after claiming she was sexually assaulted during a work trip. So it wasn't by the lady, it was by her staff or something. Lizzo.
Needs attention, guys. Lizzo needs attention. Yeah.
I guess Lizzo put out like something saying I quit and everybody thought she meant singing. But nope. She's now saying I meant like don't be negative. I don't know. I wonder actually if like she did mean I quit music. And now she wants to take it back because she didn't actually want to quit. And this is kind of just like really fucking annoying. Like, I wonder if she likes The Whale. Anybody think about that? Did she speak out against the Whale movie? Maybe I'm going to do this thing I used to do. Hold on. I'm going to do a search for allegations now. So, yeah, I guess it's mostly Diddy still. Diddy's allegations. Ah, interesting. Philadelphia Latin teacher resigns after sexual misconduct with a minor. Hold on. Okay, it's another woman teacher, guys. Another woman teacher resigned from misconduct from a minor. Oh, 20 years ago. Wow. Okay. Friend Central School. Where is that? Oh, Philadelphia. Wow. It happened 20 years ago, and that's all the information that's on here. More allegations? Yeah, so I started watching this Quiet on Set documentary. Like, I guess it's about Nickelodeon. And,
Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon.
you know, like, I saw these studies saying trigger warnings actually make it worse for people. And you would have thought they would stop doing these now, but apparently they need to still keep doing these. Trigger warning, guys. This piece contains descriptions of sexual assault and abuse. You know what's funny about that is it's kind of ironic because, I mean, it's just, oh, listen. Hey, just a warning, I'm going to talk about things done to someone else. But did the someone else get a trigger warning before, like, this stuff happened, you know? Hey, I'm going to rape you, but hey, just so you know, I'm going to, like, assault you, but just so you know, I'm going to tell you first, like, as a warning, just so it's not as bad, I guess. Like, they didn't get a warning before. What does it matter when, like, somebody hearing a second or third whatever hand about, hey, by the way, this guy from Nickelodeon, like, was a creep and, you know, some people got molested and whatever. But we're going to talk about that. So, trigger warning, other people got hurt and you're hearing about it now. Just so you know, trigger warning. I guess I know the original thought was like if someone else had abuse that they would not be able to hear other abuse. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I saw studies about trigger warnings not helping. Psychology Today. Do trigger warnings do more harm than good? NBC investigates. Do trigger warnings do more harm than good? On psychologytoday.com. It seems like trigger warnings should be helpful. Why not give people warning that they might be upset by certain content, especially people who may be vulnerable to it? Shouldn't that help them prepare for the content? Maybe prompting them to use strategies to manage any negative emotions that might come up. Many people are in favor of trigger warnings. 57% of college students are in favor. Of course, college students are. But in general, the evidence on trigger warnings doesn't line up with what we might expect. Research suggests that trigger warnings neither reduce people's negative emotions after seeing disturbing content, nor do they help people cope better with that content. In the study described above, for example, researchers ran 6 separate experiments with a total of whatever. Trigger warnings did not reduce participants' anxiety or negative feelings. They made no difference. Let's see. The effects seem to hold for both general population and for those who have experienced trauma. The very people trigger warnings are often intended to protect. In a study of 40 participants, unfortunately, trigger warnings did not help trauma survivors avoid painful memories or brace themselves for upsetting content. Don't trigger warnings at least help people avoid content? Across studies, these warnings do not seem to reduce the likelihood that people go on to view negative content. In one recent study, for example, college students watched a, quote, traumatic film and then had the options to view images from the film, either preceded by a trigger warning or not. The researchers found that trigger warnings did not increase the likelihood that participants would avoid the images. Studies of Instagram's sensitive content screens receive a similar pattern. They don't seem to deter people from viewing negative content. Case solved by Guy in His Room. Yeah, see, this makes sense to me. When you think about it, it makes sense because, like it says here, when we're told we can't do something like view potentially disturbing content, it increases our curiosity and interest in it. This is called the forbidden fruit effect, and it might be causing trigger warnings to backfire. In other words, trigger warnings may make you more likely to want to view the content. In one study, people who were given trigger warnings before reading a disturbing passage reported more anticipatory anxiety than those who saw no trigger warnings. Another risk, trigger warnings may increase trauma survivors' tendency to see their trauma as central to their identity. So it can actually worsen symptoms of PTSD and anxiety over time. So basically, they're not good. I mean, that's what it says. I mean, basically this says that they either do nothing or make it worse. So, I mean, that basically to me says don't do them anymore. But I guess we're still doing these fucking things because when I was watching this show, they came up right away. Guys, by the way, a warning. These people might have got molested. And they're going to talk about it. They're the one that, like, has to fucking deal with it and talk about it, you know? If you know you're going to watch a series on dark child shit, you know? Like, you know these are child actors. You know they're going to talk about abuse. Like, what do you think's going to happen? You need a trigger warning on top of it? I mean, you know, it's weird because, like, watching this, at first I was like, well, some of this stuff isn't really, like, it's not a crime, that's for sure. Like, just someone being difficult to work with. But then I was like, fuck this fucking guy. Like, I didn't finish it yet, but, like, the way you treat people, like, I don't even like the way Steve Jobs treated people. And this guy really, like, in the beginning episodes, like, it's not worse than anything Steve Jobs, except for maybe the creepy, like, wanting massages and, like, a hot tub scene. But you could argue that was, I don't know. I mean, they were, like, debatable to me. Like, so far it hasn't ruined all of Nickelodeon to me like it says it would here. It's really weird with what went on with Amanda Bynes, like, because I don't know if it's gonna really go into that as much. It definitely did, but, like, I'm just curious about what the fuck happened to her after, you know. The way it described her in it was like, her parents were always on set. Her dad especially was really hard on her, and she was alone with Dan Schneider. But there's really nothing yet. Like I said, I haven't finished it, but I'm just curious about her relationship with her parents, and then if she had literally just a mental illness come up, or was it linked to shit that happened back then? Like, that's what's vague about it. Like, that it's just, like, really odd, because, like, even the clips it showed of her, like, from when she was younger, because I did grow up, like, when her show was on, when that Amanda show when she was still a kid was on, and then she started being in movies. I used to watch all that sometimes. You know, and, like, even the clips they have of her talking to people, I'm like, this is, like, what happened to her? I mean, now she's literally crazy. She's like a schizo, can't even probably talk to people person now. It's just weird, you know? People that, when it's involving, like, kids in Hollywood, to go that nuts, and then, like, she went so crazy that it's like nobody can explain even why. Oh, Ariana Grande, I forgot that she was featured in it, and, like, you know what? The thing with her, it's like, I kind of think she's, like, she might not be a good person. Like, she seems like she went along with everything. Like, I mean, look at how big she is now. Like, all this shit that went on, and, like, how would she not know anything? Like, that's impossible. So, like, I don't know, like, about her. Like, she might be, like, you know, one of those people that, like, basically does anything to get to the top. Like, I don't mean, like, sexual necessarily. I just mean, like, backstabbing, treating other people, your co-stars terrible. Maybe, like, you know, I don't know. I don't really understand how, because then you have that one lady who was a child actor that, like, now people know as that she hates her mom now and stuff, and what was her name? Jeanette McCurdy. Pressured her into drinking alcohol, gave her an unwanted massage, and pitted young actors against one another. So look, Ariana. Oh, it says here. McCurdy and her co-star Ariana Grande filed complaints about a producer on their show. So they just filed a complaint, and then reports. They did find inappropriate behavior, and then he was no longer allowed to be on set with any actors. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. I don't think, like, after all this creepy stuff about the Dan Schneider guy, I'm not really sure about if he's like a pedo or not. Like, but it might get into that later, but because it describes him also treating the writers who were adults also really bad. There's some other things in the like that he didn't really like women comedy writers. That's kind of, it is discriminatory, but it's like something a lot of people say, still. Ew. Female actors would frequently sit on Schneider's lap. I guess it'll probably get into this. Oh yeah, because it talks about this fucking actual pedo guy that was like played someone on the All That show, and this one guy that was a child actor was like, yeah, Brian Peck, I guess. Oh wait, that was a dialogue coach? Okay, but I guess he also played a character. He played some character on the All That show, but he also was a dialogue coach, apparently. So that does make sense that he would wind up at his house then, if he was like a coach and all that. I mean, honestly, you gotta really think that everybody that, like, there's a certain portion of an entire, like, anybody that works with kids, there's gonna be at least a pedo, if not multiple. Like, that's just what it seems like. Unfortunately, like with teachers, with, preachers, pastors, but it's, Boy Scouts. For a while, it was like, oh, the Catholic Church, but now it's like, yeah, anybody that has adults working with kids, there's going to be a certain amount. And this anyway, so this Brian Peck guy, who I just, yeah, this guy right here. This one actor that was on All That and stuff, he said he went to this Brian Peck guy's house, him and a bunch of people, and parents were there too. They all went to this guy's house, shown right here, Brian Pecker. And he took this kid aside, and he was like, I got to show you something here. And this wasn't even the molesting part, by the way. Just trigger warning, this isn't that gross. It's just a really weird story. And he was like, hey, I got to show you something to this kid at the time. And he goes, and he shows him a painting that John Wayne Gacy did. And he was like, hey, look at this painting. And he and he said it was by John Wayne Gacy, who was in prison at the time, and sent it to this Brian Peck guy, who worked at Nickelodeon and was a dialogue coach. And he also had a ton of letters because he was writing to John Wayne Gacy. He was fucking friends with Gacy, and he was working on All That and on Nickelodeon stuff. And he was privately dialogue coaching young boy actors. And loved John Wayne Gacy, was friends with him, wrote him all the time. He was really proud of this. He showed apparently not just this actor kid, but he said fucking the parents and everybody else there. He showed that. Like, that's a level of delusion. That's like a level of, like, you're not self-aware or something. Unless it was like that they sort of got off on that too. Like, hey, I'm going to show him how fucked up I am. I don't know. But to me, it seems like a lack of self-awareness thing or something. There was another guy too that, I didn't even finish the series yet, but there was another guy too that was a fucking pedo that wasn't even 30 years old, and he was like, everybody thought he was this nice guy that was a Christian, and he was a fucking piece of shit. And then there's this guy who is older and kind of seems more like he'd be the pedo guy. That's so fucked up, man. Drake Bell was the kid that he messed with. I remember when Drake and Josh, like, I think I was getting older when that was coming out. So I didn't really watch it. I just saw like parts of it. And Drake was the like skinny, cool guy on the show, and you know, Josh was the big fat kid that like was kind of the butt of jokes all the time. Fat shaming. But then he lost tons of weight and he got like skinny and just I don't know how he did. Like that was pretty crazy to me. I mean, I know that happens to a lot of people, but just to see him on a show as a big obese kid and then not at all anymore. He actually was in fucking Oppenheimer. And you know, this is what he looks like now, really skinny. I mean, you wouldn't even have guessed that was him as a kid, but I don't know if he ever got, you know. Actually, probably not because he was the fat kid. That's one way to guard against, Oh, Drake's father expressed concern about Brian being around his son so much. At one point, he said when he mentioned his concern, he was ostracized on set. The fuck? Why would that guy have so much pull, like this fucking dialogue coach? Why would anybody care? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, everybody was like talking about Hollywood full of creeps, and it's just true, you know? Like this lady in the series is like, I wanted to be an actor, but then my kid was good at it and was actually about to be cast, but then this fucking pedo guy liked her and stuff, and then thank God she was a good enough parent that her daughter didn't go and didn't become a child star, like just quit everything. And that's probably a rare, like all these people let their, you know, not just this show, but see all this, I don't know, all this shit is fucking disgusting. Anybody who works with kids, just, you know, keep an eye out. I'm not saying they're all, you know, creeps, but it seems like, I don't know, 10%. Even if it's just 10%, that's, even if it's 1%.
Quiet on set, guys. Quiet, hey, come on to my house, guys. I mean, I have a John Wayne Gacy painting. Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Diddling Combs. Sean Coombs. God, every fucking celebrity.
Like it almost seems now that like every fucking person in Hollywood is a creep. They either are or they had a creep touch them or something. Anyway, happy Easter, guys. Happy Easter, guys. Happy Easter, guys. Happy Easter, guys. Hope you have a pleasant Easter week. Remember, the Lord has risen. Or did he? Or did, right? Or did, right? Or did, right? Christ has risen, guys. Christ has risen, guys. Christ has risen, guys. Christ has risen. Christ has risen. Christ has risen. Christ has risen. Christ. On Easter morn. He's gonna come down again, y'all. He who hath risen. I'm excited to see Passion of the Christ 2, where Jesus does Mission Impossible stuff in it. They are gonna make that movie apparently. I was just reading that it's being filmed. I guess it's just gonna show him lying around and then being gone and coming back. I don't know.
Jesus. H Christ. Jesus H Christ. H Christ. What's the H stand for? H stand for. Jesus Hell Christ. Jesus Hussein Christ.
Yeah, anyway, happy.
Yeah, Easter, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna work on becoming as big as the Brendan Fraser and the whale for next week. I just kind of want to reinvent myself. You don't always have to reinvent yourself in like
A kind of like better way, like, oh, I'm gonna reinvent myself and just look different, like have a different style, or get into something else. Like, I'm gonna reinvent myself by just indulgement and just like, as Aleister Crowley would say, do what thou wilt. Do whatever you want. That's actually Brendan. When you think about it, the whale character, the Brendan Fraser guy, he did what thou wilt. He kept eating. Now, anybody that actually goes by that philosophy will realize there's no like logical end to that. Like philosophy, do whatever you want. That's not a good. That's not, it can't be someone's philosophy, because you'll just be a fucking piece of shit, I guess. Like, I guess it depends if you have personal like morals and stuff like that. But do what thou wilt. Like, that probably was also Ted Bundy's philosophy, Jeffrey Dahmer's philosophy. I mean, do whatever you want, and consequences be damned.
Do what thou wilt. Thou wilt. Thou wilt. Thou wilt.
So think of that for the next episode, guys. Do whatever you want. Do what thou will. I will report in with my results. Debauchery. And whatever the fuck I want, bitch.